Hello everybody, welcome to BrickVault. Today we are presenting to you the TIE Phantom from the designer Bartolome. First and primarily appearing in the 1995 video game Star Wars Rebel Assault 2: The Hidden Empire, this is, in my opinion, the first true super fighter of the Star Wars universe. It lives up to its Phantom name as it has the ability to cloak, and in this video we are going to be getting into the ship's elusive history, interesting design, and excellent execution in LEGO bricks. Before we go any further, first I'd like to say that if you think you'd like to build this model for yourself, you can purchase the instructions at our web store, www.brickvault.toys. With each purchase comes the PDF step-by-step building guide, an easy upload parts list for ordering online, and the TIE Phantom also has some graphics that can later be printed onto sticker paper from extra detailing if you want. Any and all support really helps us out here at the channel, and it also helps support the amazing builders we work with like Bart. Now, as you may have been able to guess, this model is built to minifigure scale. That means the TIE Phantom scales with the rest of the TIE ships. They look pretty awesome all here together actually. This is the first time we've taken them out after the move. And the Phantom also scales with the different ships of the Star Wars universe, including the Starfighters. Specifically though, the TIE Phantom measures out to 17.5 inches long, 44 centimeters, 10.5 inches wide, 27 centimeters, and 10 inches high on the stand, 25 centimeters. That makes it one of the longest Imperial fighters out there, and it has the biggest, bulkiest body out of any of its TIE cousins, save maybe the Reaper. Basically, it's just a huge reactor for all its energy requirements on the inside, and it's also the only TIE, I think, to have a cockpit that isn't shaped like an eyeball. Now, this detail leads back to the lore or history of the TIE Phantom. The ship was in fact referred to as the Phantom V-38, and this fighter here is just a modified version of the V-38 assault fighter, which is alluded to. I love that the backstory ends right there and we never get to see what the original V-38 looks like, and based on the design of this ship, I might even guess that it's not even an original Sinar Fleet Systems design at all. Because this cockpit resembles something Corellian, this Millennium Falcon windscreen by far is the best piece to use here. I like to think that the TIE Phantom is a ship with some Corellian designs at its core. Also, on a personal note, it looks like this is the best TIE to fly because of the better visibility compared to any of the other ones. In terms of LEGO functionality, the windscreen can be removed and the two pilots added or taken out. Their seats stick out somewhat suspended here, and the control consoles are also clipped into the same bit of building. I like the bit of panel covering added around the screens, and you can see the designer made some unique sticker detailing here if you wanted to include it. Rookie 1 and Rue Merlin are the rebels that steal the Phantom in the game, so I made versions of those figs too. You can see how they fit in and out of the seats. Takes just a little bit of wiggling and wobbling in order to get them to fit in place, and if you wanted to switch them out, you can totally do that. I prefer to keep the actual TIE pilots in there. And also, real quick, totally random, this video is happening to launch on Bartolome's birthday, so happy birthday. Right, back to business. The business end of the Phantom includes 5 laser cannons. 3 are located at the ends of the wings, while 2 others, slightly smaller, are nestled just underneath the cockpit. Its big, fat, bulky body could give you the impression of a slower or sluggish heavy fighter, solely relying on that cloaking device. But when you take a look at the back, the TIE Phantom truly has 3 ion engines. As a quick aside, the LEGO TIE Defender was given 3 as a somewhat creative liberty, even though in the Rebels universe it only has 2 engines. But the TIE Phantom really does stand for tri-ion engines or triple ion engines, even though Wikipedia fails to acknowledge that. So long story short, circling all the way back around, it's got a fat body, but the Phantom is still very, very fast in universe and should not be underestimated. Its cold industrial exterior is detailed particularly well with the bullion and smaller bar stud pieces that we have. And flipping around again towards the front, just behind the cockpit, there are 3 sets of heat dispersion fins, also a unique feature among the TIEs. In this regard, it's actually a little similar to the Snowspeeder, which is kind of fun. So perhaps the design history origins start with Incom Corp instead of Carillion Engineering, who knows? Regardless, the LEGO integration here is really solid, and this extra bit of black detailing on the body really helps break up that big bit of gray in the middle, so I like it a lot more from afar with those heat dispersion fins. Lastly, you'll notice that the wings are built with bricks stacked. That leaves no spot for exposed undersides of studs on either side of the wing, and I think this is a cleaner way to present the ship and also keeps the look of the Phantom consistent with the rest of the ties in our little minifig scale universe. Now let's check out the handling of this LEGO model. It stays on that stand extremely well. You can spin it around from any of its extremities. The center weight is right there, so it doesn't have any indication of tipping over. And if I pick up the model very carefully and slowly, I can show you how it stays on the stand so well. It's actually stuck on there with a little axle piece going into the body somewhat. You can display it without that axle piece. It just doesn't stick on quite as well. You can see where that little hole is for that connection, and now it's time to handle the model. It's pretty big and bulky, somewhat heavy. You can see right there that, the guns, the small extremities, sure, could pop off if you put too much weight on them. And I'm also showing you some of those side panels that like to wobble if you put too much pressure on them as well. I haven't had them break off, and you can sort of palm the whole model if you feel like it. The weight can be supported when you're holding the wings, though you shouldn't hold up the entire model by just one wing, I would suggest. And then let me show you guys this real quick. You can not really set the model down without the stand. The wings are attached quite solidly. The reality is they're splayed out pretty wide and the body is very heavy. The axle piece from the stand can be left in the body and then it would be able to rest on the ground without the stand, but I don't find myself ever really needing to do that, so I choose to keep the Phantom on the stand at all times when it's being displayed. It's a super solid model. It's just a bit wide in the center, which makes it slightly more difficult to just casually pick up maybe compared to some of the other ties, but design-wise I put it on the same structural standing as any of the other LEGO tie cousins. Real quick, there's also a graphic for a display card and a little stand built around it if you like. I'm sure you'll recognize the formatting of the stylistic detailing, and it comes with a few stats and information about the ship if you'd like to know more. There really are some great tiny details that are included on this ship. I like that you can look up close and see a lot of interesting greebles. And the designer Bart also had a really fun idea of adding a little kill streak onto the side of the Phantom if you ever so choose. Don't think that's the Falcon, but it's interesting that they managed to take out a Carillion freighter. And I suppose now I have run through all of the things that I felt like talking about for this TIE Phantom. It's really fun fleshing out the greater Star Wars universe. Expanding the TIE fleet is absolutely awesome. And this is by far one of the more interesting and I think better looking expanded universe ties out there. Anyways, if you did want to build this model for yourself, you can find the instructions linked in the description below and at our web store, www.brickvault.toys. Like always, let me know what types of models you want to see coming down the way. We are, of course, open to any and all suggestions. And let me know what you think about this TIE Phantom. Personally, I'd love to see what people think of in terms of a fan design for the original V-38 Assault Fighter, because we never get to actually see what any of that could have looked like. But I'm just talking now to have an excuse to show more beauty shots of the TIE Phantom. Alright, that is going to be it for this video, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. If you enjoy our content, you can always like, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.